everyone, it's Mrs. Frugal from impossiblyfrugal.com, and today I'm here to tell you 5 small things you can do to help you pay off your debt even faster. Off your debt even faster is to pay as much as you can afford towards your credit cards or any type of debt that you have. I know we strive to at least make sure that we're paying that minimum payment on time each and every time. But if you can pay a little more than that, even $1, $2, something small can really make a huge difference. So what I try to do is, a lot of times if I see on my credit card the minimum payment is $27, it usually can be a pretty random amount like that. Then I'll just round it up and pay $30 off. So, at least you're helping a little bit, and that adds up over time to make a big impact there. The second thing you can do is make cuts to your spending. And what I mean by that is really looking at your bank statement, your budget, and looking, is there anything that we can reduce our costs on? A good example for us is we don't have cable, which is great, a great cost savings right there. So if you actually currently have cable, I would highly recommend switching to internet TV service providers like Netflix, Hulu, HBO Go, whatever your preference is. There's so many out there, much cheaper and no contracts, which is great. So that's what we use, and I was looking at our budget and I noticed, we had Hulu, we had Netflix, we had HBO Go, we had multiple different ones, but we really weren't watching anything on Netflix at the time. And so I was looking at that and I was like, okay, well that's $12 a month and we're not really watching anything on there very often. So I actually just went ahead and canceled our Netflix subscription, and most of what we watch is Hulu or HBO Go right now. And then kind of if we get tired of that and we're not watching as much things on Hulu or HBO Go, or we want to switch over to something that's available on Netflix, we can reinstate it at that time and turn off the Hulu subscription, the HBO Go subscription. So that's another great thing about having those internet TV providers is there's no contract, so you can kind of switch between one and the other whenever you want. And it also was an opportunity for me to really take a look at things and say, we're not really using this, not really watching it, so why am I spending an extra $12 a month? The third option is to earn some money on the side. So there's all kinds of side hustles out there that you can look up online and read or research about, but I was never really comfortable trying any of those online ways that you could make money or things like that. So I decided that I would just get a second part-time job. And what I did is, it was around the holidays, I decided to take on a part-time or a seasonal job for the holidays at a retail store. And so wasn't making a whole lot of money. I think what I was making was minimum wage at the time. I only worked about 2 days a week, a couple of hours each shift, but I think it ended up being like an extra $162 a week, which doesn't sound like much, and if you're trying to get by, it's not a whole lot. But if you have a separate full-time job that takes care of your bills and your other items that you need to be paid for, that extra $162 a week really does help. And that's potentially a credit card payment or multiple credit card payments. If not, kind of just saving that in your savings account, you can kind of build that up to really help in some way as well. And I was only working, again, part-time on the evenings, on the weekends, to get a little bit of extra cash here or there. And the work itself really wasn't that hard or laborious either, and I made some friends along the way as well. So it was a pretty cool experience. The fourth thing you can do to be able to pay down your debt faster is to sell or return what you don't need. So I have another blog post that I did about having a garage sale where we kind of went through everything in the house, said, what are we not using, what do we not need, what's just kind of cluttering up the house. and we did a garage sale, and we actually made some pretty good money, a couple $100 from doing that on a weekend, one day, just selling stuff around the house that we don't really need, that was kind of just taking up space. And then another thing you can do is return any items that you're not using. So I have a really bad habit of going to a retail store and buying clothes that I really think are nice or a good price at the time, and then I kind of leave it in my closet with the tag on, and I don't ever end up wearing it. Or for example, at Costco, we bought some water bottles, and then we just kind of left them in the box on our counter for a while and never really used them. And we were like, well, we've got enough water bottles in the house. Why did we end up buying this in the first place? And so we brought it back and we returned it. So if it's something you're not going to use, that you bought, you're not wearing, you're not using, just go ahead and return it and get that money to come back into your account. You really don't want to just have it sit around and then decide to open it and it sit in your shelf all day, or it sit in your closet all year. So you know, just kind of look at that too. If you buy something, you can always return it. Don't say just because you bought it, oh, now I have to keep it, or I have to keep it in my closet. You do have the option to return it. You just want to check with the store, the place you're buying it from. Each place will have a little bit of a different return policy, so you do want to keep that in mind. But if you're not using it, return it. And if you've got a bunch of old things kind of cluttering up the space, try out having a garage sale or some type of sale where you can earn a little bit of money by downsizing or getting rid of some of the items that you're no longer using. And the fifth way that you can pay off your debt faster is actually by just asking your credit card company for a lower interest rate. And I know it sounds like, you know, such a simple thing, but a lot of people don't think it's possible and are like, what? You can't just ask your bank or your credit card company to give you a lower interest rate. It's not that easy, but it actually is. I did it recently. I have a credit card that I've had probably since I was 18 years old, when I was first able to get a credit card. And at that time that I got the credit card, I didn't really have established credit. I didn't have any type of credit history. So of course, at the time I got the absolute highest interest rate possible and didn't really pay attention to what an interest rate was or how much an interest rate was when I was 18. So that's just what my interest rate has been all of this time. It was actually 26%, which is outrageous. And then I was kind of looking at some of the other credit cards I had, and they were ranging between like 14 and 18% in terms of an interest rate. And so I just did some research, and I saw online that there were people that have had some really good luck just calling their credit card company and asking them to reduce their interest rate. So I was like, hey, you know what can it hurt? I might as well just try and call and see what they say. So I called and I said, hey, you know, I'm looking into transferring my balance on this credit card to another credit card with a lower interest rate. But before I do that, I just wanted to kind of check in and see if there was anything you could offer me, if you had an option to lower my interest rate so I can just kind of maintain the credit card that I have now. And right away, they were like, yeah, let me see what I can do for you. Some typing in the background, some looking into things, and they're like, yeah, we can offer you a lower interest rate. So I was able to get it from 26%, which is what I started with, down to 18%, which is more in line with some of the other cards that I had at the time. And so just a quick call, it took me maybe 10 minutes to talk to them and see what they might be willing to do. And I was able to lower my interest rate right away that same day. So definitely something to look into. You know, don't be afraid to call and just ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. The worst that they can say is no, you know, I'm sorry, we can't do that for whatever reason. And at least you tried, and then you know. And then maybe you do want to look into an actual balance transfer to maybe another option that has a lower interest rate, because that interest does add up, and you know that just is increasing your balance. The higher interest that you have, if you've got a large amount on a credit card that you're trying to pay off, that's just gonna compound over time and just really add to that balance. And you know, the monthly payment that you're making and the monthly interest, you know, will cancel each other out almost a lot of times, depending on what your interest rate is. So definitely look into that as an option. Don't shy away from asking, at least. It doesn't hurt to ask. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this video and learned some ways that you can pay down your debt faster. If you liked the video, definitely give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more frugal ideas, reviews, and options that I go through and love to share my experience with you.